Hi, my name is John.
And I'm Lloyd.
And we are the hosts of Pint Comics, a podcast all about pop culture. Lloyd, what do we do sometimes on Pint Comics that people might want to know about before they listen?
Well, sometimes we drop spoilers and sometimes we swear like sailors.
So, if you're okay with that stuff, listen in and enjoy the show.
When leaving the theater, we suggest that the exit at the front of the auditorium will allow you easier access to the parking areas. Thank you.
They have murder boners for this kid.
It's already over budget, Mike.
Yeah. I put the Instagram of me watching the DVD the other night, and he's like, burn it when you're done.
This is a really bad IMDb summary.
Okay.
Dante's Peak is worse than Volcano.
Shut up.
Dante's Peak is worse.
You don't need to start
It's
fights
worse.
here, John. Shut up.
It's dumb.
No.
All right, I get excited.
No, King James can't jump to the phone. Because he's dead, that's why.
We interrupt your regularly scheduled Pint of Comics episode to bring you something different. I'm Mike Butler.
I'm Mike Field.
And you're listening to the Forgotten Cinema's takeover of Pint of Comics. For the next 4 weeks, each episode we highlight a film that, for a variety of reasons, was forgotten by audiences. Whether it be because a more popular movie was released at the same time, or the film simply didn't catch on with an audience in its initial run. We'll be joined on this journey by Al, a hologram that only Sam can see and hear. Wait, no. Sorry. That's the Quantum Leap opening. We'll be joined by Pint of Comics' own John Amenta, and all of us will discuss what we love about the movie, or maybe don't love about it, but we'll always recommend you revisit it. If you enjoy these 4 episodes, you can find more Forgotten Cinema on all podcast platforms.
Like all great things, they must come to an end.
All good things must come to an end.
Yeah. I said great, though.
That's
This
good.
was
Good
great.
things. Good things is the Star Trek: The Next Generation
All right.
series finale.
Listen, nerd. All right. Listen. All right. The takeover is ending. This is our last episode. John, how you doing?
Good, how's it going, man?
I'm all right. I'm doing all right. I'm doing okay. We're here at the, I'm calling it the 215. I know it's called the 215.
Yeah, we call it both, you know. Very malleable.
So we are doing our last film, which is we're still in the 90s. If you remember from last week, we did The Chase from 1994. We are a couple years back, 1992. We're doing the movie Trespass. Let me give you that synopsis, and then we'll get into the facts, and then we'll get into this Forgotten Cinema episode. Firefighters Vince and Don venture into gang-infested territory to find gold that's been hidden inside an abandoned building.
There's gold in them hills.
There's gold in this gang-infested territory. But when they witness the murder, they become the targets of crime lord King James and his underling, Savon. Apologies. Fortunately, the treasure hunters have kidnapped a bargaining chip, King James' half-brother Lucky. But this might not be enough to get them and their gold out of the building intact. What do you think about that synopsis?
It's infested with gangsters. Infested with them. Call the exterminator.
It's like a rundown building, and it's like the best well-structured rundown building you've ever seen.
All the floors are solid.
They are. We'll get to that. Trespass has a runtime of 101 minutes. It's rated R. Sorry, I hit your computer there, Butler. Production budget of $14 million. This surprised me. Released December 25th, 1992. This is a Christmas film.
Yep, very Christmassy.
That shocked
All
me.
that fire in the film at the end keeps you warm. Makes
Yeah.
you think of a fireplace.
And that wasn't the original release date, and we'll get to that later, but that was, I'm surprised they put this on Christmas. I was just like, really?
I kind of have a feeling, and you'll obviously talk about what happened with
Yes,
this movie.
yeah.
That they just got to a point where they're like, what do we do with this?
Put this out.
Just put it out.
All right, so opening weekend, it did $5 million. Domestic and worldwide are the same. It did $13.2 million. So it barely made its production, but it didn't make its production budget back. So it probably was. I wonder if this probably went into the black in home box office sales and stuff like that, and videotapes and DVDs.
We
and stuff.
never know.
I know they never have that info. This movie was produced, its production company, and distributed by Universal Pictures. So came out on the 25th on Christmas. It went up against Hoffa, the Jack Nicholson playing Hoffa. Like that? We like that movie? We like that? Danny?
Never
Did you-
saw
I
it.
never saw it.
You've never seen it?
Nah.
Wow. You should see it.
Yeah, I think I've seen the end. There's a diner scene, right? I think.
When they're digging up the end zone at Giant
yeah.
Stadium. And do you know about that? How they used the joke is that Hoffa's buried in the end zone.
I know about the
Yeah,
Joker. Yeah, I know about Hoffa, but I haven't seen that movie.
Really? You haven't seen it either?
No.
That's a movie you should see.
It's got Jack Nicholson, so I should see it.
Yeah, no, it's got a lot of nice people. It's got a lot of nice people. A lot of good
Directed
people
by
in it.
Danny DeVito, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Not Frank Reynolds Danny DeVito, just Danny DeVito.
Thank you. Not Batman Returns Penguin Danny DeVito, but the actual Danny DeVito. Could be worse. Your nose could be gushing blood.
All right, so he also had an limited release that day, Peter's Friends, Chaplin, and Damage. The Wednesday before, so the 23rd, obviously this year, the 25th was a Friday, so the Wednesday before they had movies coming out, you had a limited release of Scent of a Woman and Indochine. Obviously, we know who Scent of a Woman is. I will not do it because then I'll rip my voice.
Come on, do some Pacino so you can't talk tomorrow.
All right, I'm sorry. I can't resist. All right, the week after the 18th, you had Forever Young, Leap of Faith. That's the Steve Martin Leap of Faith, right?
Yeah. Tell it he was the evangelist. Yeah.
I actually like that movie. And Toys, which was, I don't know, I'm like hit or miss on that.
You know, Toys is one of those movies that I remember being very divisive, but
Yes.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
Really?
I think because at the time it was one of those movies that word of mouth was so bad that I was like, I don't want to.
It's a surrealistic film.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I would probably be able to sit through it now more than I would have at 18 or whatever.
Yeah. You also had a limited release Used People. And the week after the New Year's for 1993, you had a limited release of Lorenzo's Oil, which is the Nick Nolte.
Elijah Wood, right?
Is he the son?
Susan Sarandon? Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
You never saw that. Yeah.
No.
It's a drama. It's a hard.
I know of it.
Streisand's in that. Isn't she play his...
I saw it, but it was a long time ago.
Doesn't she play his therapist?
Maybe.
Something like their therapist?
I'm going to go with yes.
She plays Lorenzo's Oil. All right, so Trespass was directed by Walter Hill, who's done 48 Hours, Last Man Standing, Red Heat. He's also done another 48 Hours as well. This is another shocker. It was written by Bob Gale and Robert Zemeckis.
Yeah, crazy.
I don't know if you've ever heard of Back to the Future, but they're responsible for that. They were nominated for Oscars for that script. Zemeckis has won an Oscar for directing Forrest Gump, and he's also doing the upcoming Pinocchio, which I did not know, the live-action one.
Who needs that, honestly?
Disney Plus needs that. They need
Is that a
more
Disney
content.
Plus movie?
I believe it's going right to Disney Plus.
They can stay there. I have no interest in that.
You will watch. Well, I guess we know what we're doing next February.
It's got, okay.
Cinematography by Lloyd Ahern II. He's done Turbulence, Can't Hardly Wait, and American Wedding. Composer was Rykuter. He's done Primary Colors, Streets of Fire, and Blue City. Edited by Freeman A. Davies, who's done The Warriors. I like that movie. The Horse Whisperer and Undisputed. Produced by Neil Canton, who's done The Witches of Eastwick, Caddyshack 2, and Money Train. Nothing stops the Money Train. I always remember that line. Did you see The Money Train? Wesley Snipes
In
and
the
Woody
theaters,
Harrelson?
yeah.
You remember any of that?
Nothing.
Oh, you should watch it again.
Nothing. It wasn't that good. Oh. That's with J-Lo, right? Before she was J-Lo?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. When I guess, yeah.
Yeah. I think I remember it being like considered like, it's the spiritual sequel to White Men Can't Jump, which to me was a fine movie, but was much better than Money Train.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, my White Man Can't Jump is awesome.
Yeah, it's good.
An episode we did on Forgotten Cinema.
I heard it. I heard it as a listener.
You have Bill Paxton playing Vince. He's in Aliens, Frailty, Apollo 13, and Twister. Butler's about to tell me a movie he was in that we did for the show, which was A Simple Plan.
Oh, and the vampire movie.
And the vampire movie.
Near Dark.
Near Dark. This is where I edit myself out when I have some of my silence going, fuck.
Don't edit it out.
Oh, I won't.
Let the people know he forgets things. William Sadler as Don. He's from The Shawshank Redemption, Die Hard 2. He's the naked guy in the beginning, everyone. And he also plays Death in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey and the fourth film, Bill and Ted Face the Music. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I liked it.
I loved it. Yeah, I absolutely loved it.
Yeah. You have Ice-T as King James from New Jack City, another episode we did. Surviving the Game. I don't know if you guys have seen that film.
Yep.
Yeah. And he's probably more people know him for the Law & Order SVU, the TV show. But I asked Butler on the right up here, didn't he host like some kind of softcore porn videos or something like that? Or he's doing like...
I don't know, but I wouldn't doubt it. I know his wife is that like Coco, like she's like that buxom model, and I think she might like do some of that pinup stuff. So
I think so.
Very possibly. Very possibly.
I just remember like a ton of DVDs that were like there was a bunch of them where he was like Ice-T presents. And
I mean, at one point Snoop Dogg was doing like he wasn't in porns, but I think he was producing porns.
They're making a lot of money off that. I'm sure it's much more now, but I always remember the line back in the day when it was like, oh, porn's a $9 billion industry. Like they decide the format. Porn decides like the format. Format wars.
Except that porn went HD DVD, not Blu-ray, and Blu-ray is the one that won.
No, I thought they went Blu-ray.
No, they went HD DVD.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I had a friend I worked with who wasn't savvy on like that stuff, and it was right when Blu-ray and HD. I went Blu-ray after waiting a while. but HD was still out. And I remember he got for Christmas an HD player. And it was right when it was happening. And I was like, dude, that's going to... And he's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, it's not going to last. It's not going to last. Remember how they instead of Blu-ray, they had the red...
Yeah.
Like the red packaging and stuff? And I'm like, dude, return it. Return it. Like, see if you can return it, because it's going to be dead. And it was dead. And also, do you remember Divx?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where you rented it, but then you could unlock it and pay for more.
Yeah.
So fucking stupid.
I'm sure that's not going to stop. There's going to be more stupid stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You had Ice Cube as Savon. I forgot his name again. Savon?
Savon.
Damn. What name?
It's like Savant without the T.
Yeah.
Is that legit? Like that's why
legit his name.
No, that's why his name is Savon.
I'm sure, maybe.
All right, so Ice Cube as Savon. He's in Friday, Ride Along, and Barbershop. Art Evans as Bradley. I know him from Die Hard 2. He's the guy that tells him to go to the other tower.
Yep.
Yeah, but he's also in Ruthless People, an episode we did, Butler.
He's one of the detectives.
Yes, yep. Devereaux White as Lucky, who's in Die Hard as well. He's the limo driver.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he's also in the commercial for Die Hard.
The new one for the batteries.
Oof, that's bad.
If you didn't name him, you wouldn't know that thing.
I haven't seen the commercial, but I work for that company.
You're not missing much. He's also in Head of the Class, the TV show Head of the Class. Do you remember that from the...
I didn't know he was... I know of the show, I didn't remember he was in it.
Bruce A. Young as Raymond. He's in Risky Business, Basic Instinct, and Jurassic Park 3. He's the guy, I believe, that has the sat phone in Jurassic Park 3 that gets eaten.
He's one of the two mercenaries. Yeah.
Glenn Plummer as Luther, who he's the guy that in Speed, who he takes his car. That's always
and he's in Speed. He's in Speed too. He has a speedboat, and they take it.
Yeah, so that's the only way I remember him from that. He's also in Strange Days, Butler. We did that movie as well. Remember that?
Who is he in Strange Days?
Oh man, I think he is one of the guys in the. I don't know.
Is he one of the limo driver's friends at the end who helps him out?
I don't know if he's. No, I'm sorry. No, he's the guy that gets shot in the video.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's like the rapper or something.
The
singer,
toward the beginning,
kill.
The thing that starts off the movie.
Did you ever see Strange Days?
Long time ago.
Yeah, that's actually.
It is a good movie.
Yeah,
it's been a long time.
Yeah. Stoney Jackson as Wicked. He's in the TV show 227, Angels in the Outfield, and The Fan. T.E. Russell as Video. The video. We'll get to this, but the video camera stuff was put in while they were preparing for the movie. Yeah. So I'm wondering if they just changed the dude's name while they were doing. Let's call him Video.
Yeah.
He's in the 1992 movie Gladiator, not the Russell Crowe one, and Swimming with Sharks. Tom Lister Jr., or Tiny Lister's in this. He plays Cletus. He is in The Fifth Element and Friday. Mm-hmm. And then you had a couple, not cameos, but people in there that I was like, oh, that's the guy from that movie, like Hal Linden Jr., who plays Eugene DeLong, who gives them the map in the beginning. It's Bill and Ted's father. It's Ted's father from Bill and Ted.
Oh, fuck yeah. Okay, yeah.
And then James Pickens Jr. plays Officer Reese, and he is from
X-Files.
There you go. I'm pointing at you.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
What's his name? In X-Files. In X-Files. James Pickens. No, for crying out loud. Did you watch the movie? Did you watch the movie?
He's the cop that comes at the end.
Yeah, at the end of the movie, he's the cop.
He's the black cop, if that helps you. I'm trying
Mr. X?
Kirsch. He plays Agent Kirsch.
Oh, is he Agent Kirsch?
Yeah, he's the jerk that comes in and takes place of
Skinner for a
Skinner,
while,
and we all hated him. Oh,
Kirsch was all right.
Yeah, but when he first came in and you're watching the X-Files, everybody hated him.
Yeah, but you look at him like he just didn't know what the hell was going on. He's just an idiot.
Well, then
which I think in one episode, Mulder kind of calls him out on being an idiot.
He's also, if you've ever watched Roseanne, he's also one of Dan's poker buddies. I used to watch it, and I think even in I watched a couple when they came back, and he was in it again.
Oh, nice. So this movie was shot in Atlanta, Georgia, and Memphis, Tennessee, mostly. I think the indoor stuff was Memphis, right? It was like an old factory that they were gonna tear down anyway, or something like that. Oh no, they were gonna they didn't tear it down. They rebuilt it and renovated it. So
into apartments.
Yes,
I did read that.
It was filmed in November from 1991 in November to February 5th, 1992. So it probably went through the holiday season there. And then that's all the facts I got. We'll get to a bunch of other stuff. I'm curious, John, you've seen this already.
Yes.
Okay. You have or have not seen
I had
this
not,
movie?
and never heard of it.
And you never knew about it?
Never knew about it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, this is what I always like. What'd you think?
I did not like this movie.
Wow.
The Ice Cube rap at the end of this movie is the only good thing about this
Ice Cube
film.
and Ice T, they both rap together.
Oh, are they both in this? All right.
Yeah, that's their song.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's better than this movie.
Wow. Come on. That's
I'm not going to be Mike Field in the chase.
Oh, there's
something in everything that I can find that's good. No. I will not just indiscriminately hate, but it's not a very good movie. I did not enjoy it.
There's no reason for you to be that way with me.
Whoa, there is.
Okay, fine. What did you like about it?
John, welcome to.
I'm just watching my mom and dad fight right now.
I liked a few of the characters. I enjoyed Ice-T's character. I enjoyed Ice-T performing as King James. I thought King James was really good. I liked his. He was able to emote in a way that I think very few of the other gangster actors could. Well, he had juicier stuff to do. But you had like Ice Cube as Savon, and he's supposed to be this guy that's like, oh, he's always angry, but he's like me when he's younger. But he's very one note. And granted, he's supposed to be an angry guy, but it's kind of like that's all he can play is that kind of caricature of that's what you see Ice Cube is playing.
Well, we were talking about this. Or me, you talking? We were talking about this before. So this is Ice Cube before Friday, before Barbershop, before he really found his acting voice.
This is probably right after Boys.
Right.
This
is him. Like, okay, I've got a hip hop career. I'm gonna try to get an acting career.
This is Ice Cube straight out of Compton.
But this is just him starting out. So I can't. I mean, because I've seen Ice Cube in other stuff where I'm like, he's good. And so I can forgive that. I mean, but plus that's the way the character's written. It's not like
Ice Cube is always like this.
But did you see the note that they ad-libbed a lot of their stuff? They had not ad-lib, but like Walter Hill asked them to change, like, you know, figure out like how you would speak, how you would talk, what your character would say.
A bunch of old white guys are going to tell him, hey,
yeah, I know.
Gee, guys, don't talk like me. Yeah, obviously.
Well, that was smart of Walter Hill, though, to know that like they're going to know the vernacular, you know, better than he is.
Absolutely,
you know, so if something was written, especially if something was written by Bob Gale in 1975, he needs somebody with at that point a modern view take on it. You know, like they're not going to say this; they're going to say this.
Here's what you're supposed to say. Get this point across. Say it however you want.
Right.
Do you think that the original script was written with the idea of like it was going to be two white firefighters and they were going to be predominantly black neighborhood? Do you think that was written the way that was in the 70s?
I don't know.
They just had gangs and.
I know it said that the ending was changed heavily from the original script, and that they said that basically every scene they did different things with it, but it didn't say how far apart it was.
Right.
But yeah, I think maybe the racial aspect in terms of like, you know, the two white firefighters going into this predominantly black neighborhood, predominantly extremely dangerous black neighborhood, not just a black neighborhood, and doing what they're doing. I would think maybe that was like kind of updated a little bit, you know, for the time we were in, you know, and as we're going to talk about in a few minutes, how timely this movie ended up being with kind of like what was happening in the country anyways.
Yeah, so the movie was originally set to be released, in July of 92?
July 4th, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you had, for those who don't know, you had the LA riots. Go ahead. I don't need to explain it. Who wants to talk about it?
The LA riots, Rodney King, the
police officer caught on tape, beating Rodney King.
Beating him horribly, and
they got off.
And LA exploded.
Yeah.
April of 1992.
And before we were talking about this, you were talking about the title, the original title.
The original title. I remember, so again, like I used to read Premiere and pre-internet days.
Who didn't?
I used to love to know what movies were coming out, and did you ever read Premiere?
My parents got Entertainment Weekly.
I also got Entertainment Weekly, so I was always even pre-internet on top of like stuff that was coming out, and they would have their like summer movie, you know, thing.
Previews,
previews, and I don't remember at what point, but I do remember reading about a film with Ice Cube and Ice-T called The Looters, and that was the original, I think, script title as well. And they're gonna call it The Looters. And Ice-T actually said that like when he would tell people what he was doing, he would say the name of the title was The Looters, and he said people wouldn't even know what the word was, like, because, you know, yes, I mean, we all know what looters are, but I mean, it's not a word you use every day.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, in April of 1992, the word loot and looters was used 82 times a minute because of what was happening. And they said, we cannot release this movie, which essentially depicts like black guys versus white guys, no matter what the situation is. That's what you might look at it as. Titled The Looters right now. Mm-hmm. It's gonna cause issues, you know. And a year prior, you know, for whatever reason, there was violence during Boys in the Hood being released in the theater, so they probably did not want anything like that to happen.
Yeah.
So they changed the name to Trespass and stuck it to Christmas. Do you have a list of the other titles they had?
Of course I do.
Because there's some fucking bad ones.
Of course I do. You had Point of No Return, The Intruders, Fire Trap, Burning Gold, Greed, and Blood and Gold.
Trespass is like is up there with the worst titles on there.
Why? They passed the sign that says no trespassing.
It has nothing to do with the movie.
That's King James turf. They're on King James
They are
turf.
on KJ's turf.
Fire Trap.
Fire Trap.
Fire Trap.
Gold.
Fire Trap sounds like a Howie Long movie.
Fire Gold.
Yes. Well, because he did do a movie like that. I was going to say it sounds like a Van Damme movie.
Oh, totally.
You know,
Yeah.
this summer, Jean-Claude Van Damme's a firefighter.
Yeah.
Fire Gold, you could do some cool font, like gold dripping down
Yeah.
from fire on top. You could do some cool stuff with that. Trespass is just boom, Trespass. It tells me nothing about the movie.
Blood and Gold is probably the most on-the-nose
I
title.
like Blood and Gold.
I do kind of like that. Yeah.
Blood and Gold also
That sounds like a
yeah.
drama from from the Merchant Ivory and stuff like that.
You're right about that. You're right about that.
I'm surprised. Again, I'm really surprised that it came out on Christmas. That's just I'm surprised to think that was a Christmas. Maybe they put it out to counter program against Hoffa because you had a drama. And then you had like Chaplin, which is another drama. It's a biopic with
Robert
Downey Jr. playing Charlie Chaplin. So maybe they thought, okay, let's put an action film because it's an action film.
That's what I read. The one little line I did read, I read like an interview with Walter Hill about this movie, where he talked about like letting them, kind of do their own dialogue. He said that when they couldn't figure out what to do with the movie, they decided to put it in at Christmas time because essentially Christmas time is usually, especially back then, all the dramas, all that stuff. Yeah. So he said, let's throw an action-ish movie out there and see if it does well against really no competition. And it didn't. It didn't work.
Which is funny because nowadays you have that all the time.
Right.
It's all dramas in December, but there is one big action movie.
Right. And I'm sure even back then they probably started doing that a little bit here and there.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, this one did not work.
I think the other thing that Hill talks about, he touches on that, he didn't want to make the movie a political film, but essentially it is a political film, what you're talking about. Like he admits like you're not going to be able to get around that.
Right.
But I do appreciate that that's not like that idea or is not heavy-handed in the movie. It's just laid out straight as an action film and you infer or what you want from it. And
right.
You know what I mean? But like I always, even when I watched it back then, I was just like, these guys are, at a place they shouldn't be and they're trying to, they're not, nobody's good in this movie.
No.
Like, that's the other thing. There's no good people in
Bill
this film.
Paxton is the closest.
They try, but he never.
No, because then he has
closest.
that moment where he goes off on Bradley.
You black son of a bitch. Yeah.
Smack him.
Right. It's funny that you say that because having not seen this in a year or two, you're thinking along that line, like they're proving that Vince, the Sadler character, is getting worse and worse.
Yeah, yeah.
Don,
yeah.
And then you're like, okay, well, Vince seems to be level-headed, and then he calls him a black son of a bitch, and I'm like, God damn it.
I think Bradley's the only kind of decent person in there. I think Bradley knows what Ice-T and the rest of the group are, that they're not good representation.
Oh, he's straight up about it.
They're bad. They're bad people. These are bad guys, but you're bad guys.
Right.
I gotta get out of here. And it's inferred that he knows something about gold and something. Like he's not an uneducated person.
Right. He goes
his
against his initial.
Right.
He seems to be siding more with the Paxton character. But when the Sadler character says, like, these guys are going to trick us and they're going to kill us, Bradley's like, he is right. Like, listen to him.
The common sense part is correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't understand how. I mean, I know they make. There's a point where they talk about the guy they find that hung himself. I guess that's what we're supposed to assume, right? That guy hung himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And that was Bradley's friend. He hasn't seen him, and he has the thing like he couldn't really put his shoes on, ever could figure out his shoes, and they make that.
Oh, right. Because
But like those are the only two people that are squatting in this place.
Well, because it's gangsters, it's dangerous. Who else would want to be?
But that wasn't their home base. They just brought King James and his crew.
That was their killing grounds. Yeah.
Yeah, basically, they brought that guy there to kill him, which they took a long time doing too. When they're on that roof and like, just kill him already.
Yeah, if this was the deal and you're in the middle of nowhere, you were going to kill him to begin with.
Right. So this is also loosely based on The Treasure of Sierra Madre.
I read that, yeah. I've never seen The Treasure of Sierra Madre.
It's a similar idea.
Yeah.
Like it's just in terms of the gold. But it's not really
in that case, it's kind of like Treasure Island. And
no, I know. I think
two groups go after a treasure map.
Yeah, that's like, like Gail and Zemeckis sit down like, I want to do Sierra Madre. Yeah, but something different. Something more urban. Yeah. We talked about the original script. We talked about the different names. That actually, Vince and Don were originally supposed to be from Ashland, Kentucky, and where they were going was supposed to be winter, and there was supposed to be constant snowfall while they were in this house, in this building, wherever they were. Like, so that was in the original script.
Okay.
I mean, I always like snow in movies. I always like that idea, the simple plan, like that, like just kind of like.
It adds a layer.
Yeah,
that you don't normally
yeah.
see 'cause it's an extra
The,
complication.
the Thing, and everyone, everyone's talking about The Thing. 30 Days a Night, which we found out wasn't shot in snow, which kind of bummed me out.
The snow would have worked really well with the fire at the end, too. It's like a nice visual representation of the ice outside and the fire within.
What's funny is my recollection of when I first watched it to now was I thought the fire was sooner in the movie or a more pressing danger in the film
that
than it was.
That would have made the film better.
I don't know why I thought that.
They talk about it earlier than it happens, obviously, but yeah, it's like last 10 minutes.
Yeah. Well, like when you first meet the two firefighters and they bust into the room and you meet Ted's dad from Bill and Ted and then he pulls the gun out and he's like, I'm sorry, here's the thing, and then he just like
he lets himself go into the fire
and then he walks back in the fire. I'm like, why'd you pull the gun, man?
I thought the same thing.
Yeah, I thought, you know what,
what have I done?
I hope I never get to the point where I'm going to kill myself, but if I have a gun in my hand, I think I'm going to use that before I self-immolate.
But the other thing was like, hey man, we're here to rescue you. It's like there was a path to get out. Like
I took that almost as if he felt such guilt over what he did, like with the stealing of the gold. You're right.
Yeah.
It really made little sense.
Right. All right. So Mike, you were the one that hated on this a little bit. You don't like it as well, right, John?
Oh no, I do like this movie.
Okay, good.
I actually do like this movie.
I don't hate it as much as there's problems with it. I agree. But what else didn't you like about it?
I really don't like Don. He's supposed to be this firefighter we get at the beginning. He's going to save lives. He's this guy. But he turns out he's a villain right from the get-go. You don't have this slow progression of, wow, I think Don might be not great. Oh, Don, what did you just say? You just get right off the bat, I'm going to kill people. I don't care. Leave that body. Let's shoot this guy. Let's kill them all. I don't care.
But Don talks him into going. Vince, in the beginning, when they're in Arkansas.
Sure, let's go get some gold. Sure.
Vince doesn't want to do it. Let's tell the cops, no, let's go.
Don's the slightly greedier guy. Sure.
I understand. And then when they get there, there's a part where Don's talking about how he can't pay his mortgage anymore. His wife has left him. He can't even afford his rent. Like, so you start getting that desperation.
You don't get that until after they're already locked in that one room, and he's like, I can't go out without the gold. We're not giving them the gold. That's when he says all that.
But what I like about that is that he's showing it at that point. And the other thing I think that maybe you get, like, if you see this movie for like the trailers, or if you see the box, or you can go by the first scene, your immediate thought is these guys are probably really good friends. They're work friends. Because like
they don't know much about each other.
They don't, because when he gets divorced, he's like, "What happened?" Like you guys would know what happened. You guys talked about it. You're friends.
Right.
These guys are not really friends. These guys are not really friends. So he doesn't know that Don is probably this Don, right? Don Sadler.
Yes.
That Don is probably this like fucking piece of shit, which he turns out to be.
But he turns out to be so soon and right away. And plus, it's William Sadler who's always the bad guy. It's especially
not
coming
then,
right off.
Not in '92.
Well, he was. He was the bad guy.
He's not the bad guy in Demon Night. That's a couple years after this.
But
he was the bad guy in Hard to Kill.
Okay.
He was the bad guy in Die Hard 2. So he's definitely dipping his toes.
Sure. He's Death. I mean, that's a few years after this too.
Right.
But
two out of three.
I mean, he shows his cards way too early, and I would prefer something that's a little slower. Like, right away he's the bad guy. Vince is the goofy guy, and then I like how Vince kind of shows his colors as well. That there are no good guys in this movie. Vince, I think, shows it a little slower than Don. Whereas Don right away is like, we're gonna have to kill Bradley or tie him up or do something.
I agree with you. There's no good people in this movie, but you could make the argument that Vince, it gets to where he is because of just the tension of the scene, the stress.
The tension of the scene, or Vince is just like, and I'm not qualifying, but Vince is maybe just like a racist, and he's not like a murder crazy guy like Don turns out to be.
He's your base racist, and Don's like a level 3.
Right. Well,
Vince is a level 1, maybe a half.
Don has no qualms over like, letting a hung person ever not be reported. Who the fuck is he anyway? Vince seems to care more about their lives than the gold, and Don is just there for the gold.
Sure.
Right?
Well, let's get into it. Why do you think that they're racist? Because they're white and they're in a black neighborhood?
Don instantly assumes everybody's going to be a bad guy right off the bat.
Okay,
I don't.
Assumes
Bradley needs
here's
to be
the thing. Here's the thing. Unless, and that's fine. And I'm okay with it. Because okay, fine. But like, it's really when you start assuming because they're from Arkansas, they're down south, and you start.
Those are two words I did not say.
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that's the assumption because you know where they're from. They're two white guys. I think to assume that they're.
See, I never assumed it because they were from the South.
My assumption was only
that. I'm saying that the assumption that they're racist isn't. You can't really do that unless that actually in the movie they say something to give you that idea.
when he
or
says
to do
you
something.
black son of a bitch. I just felt like I've been mad at people. I don't think I've ever brought that into it.
To be fair, it's because he called him a white cracker or something right before he calls him a black son of a bitch. But still, that's something inside you,
right?
I don't know. I can't see.
I'm not saying Vince is like.
I can't see that.
I think Vince is definitely the better of the two.
Yeah, Don's assuming the worst just because of the neighborhood they're in.
Yeah,
that's different than being a racist. That's different. You call somebody a racist, man, you better really mean it because that's really hardcore. That's what I'm saying. There's bigotry, there's bias, there's being like scared because of something unknown. But like, Mike, you're calling somebody racist, like they're like.
You don't think Don's a racist in this film?
I'm not saying he's not, but I don't want to say he is. Is he?
He wants to shoot Bradley right away.
Does he have bigotry in his? Yes, probably.
Does he ever say those people or
he never?
you
No,
people?
he doesn't. That's the thing.
What do you mean by you people?
That's my point. They never drop the N word. They never really go out of their way to say like to I know when the guys seem like they call him white boy.
Well, here's a question. Here's a question though. Do you think that they eased up on that because do you think that the filmmakers are trying to present them as the heroes of this movie?
No. I think doing that. I think making that, let's say they have them say the N word a bunch of times to the guys, saying that. I think then you're saying something.
Right.
I think if you're just leaving it as is, then you're presenting a film that's an action film, and then you could bring your own inferences and assumptions to the movie, which is fine to do.
It's like they said they didn't want to purposely make it political.
Right. I think you, by putting that in there, I think. You're trying to make a statement or you're saying something about that. I don't know.
If they use that word as well, you're instantly vilifying them.
Please let me understand. I'm thinking out loud as we're talking here.
Right.
I have this, I don't have these notes here.
Do you think, well, there's no success to this movie, but do you think that this movie hinges on those guys being white? Do you think that if it was too black or anything else?
No, they're people out of their element.
They're out of their element.
Two guys out of their element where they don't belong.
But what if they were two black guys from, let's say a higher...
no, it would be a different film.
You think it'd be a different film? Okay.
It might be something where that has to get addressed because they're like, you're on our turf and that kind of thing.
Right.
Maybe, but it would be a different film.
I think it'd be pretty similar.
I don't think it would be that different. It's easier to make that point in terms of like, they don't belong here where you have two white guys in a predominantly black neighborhood. Like,
right.
It's easier to make that point visually.
Here's the thing though, if you have black guys as the other two firefighters or whatever, it's easier to make it apolitical.
No, you'd have to make if you'd have to actually put more time and attention to making people understand why they don't want them there, like way that they don't want the firefighters there. I think. I don't know. I mean, I'm talking out loud. I'm just kind of like thinking out loud kind of thing.
Yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't want to. Well, let's go back to Vince, but no, because when you were talking about Bill Paxton, I wanted to ask this question. He's very whiny in this film. You know what I mean?
He's like his character from Alien.
Well, that's what I'm asking you. But do you think that that's not? Do you think that that's a choice by him, or do you think that that's early Bill Paxton? Like that's how he is?
No, because that's not him in Near Dark.
Okay, that's true.
I think this is just maybe a directing. So maybe I liked what you did in Aliens. Let's do that.
It's something he does very well.
He does
True Lies.
yeah.
Think of his cameo in True Lies. I gotta tell you, dude.
So then that would go into the idea that Don is the leader. Like he looks up to Don.
At the beginning, very much so. He's like, "What are we doing, Don? All right,
right.
Yeah, he's that little yippy dog around the big dog. Yeah, for sure.
So I think maybe they missed the mark in terms of trying to really clarify Vince getting over or getting past the relationship dynamic between him and Don in terms of like standing up to him. I think they missed that moment.
I don't think you get enough of that. You only get that one fight, which kind of ends right away and becomes it just completely snaps back to, oh, what are we doing then, sir? All right, sir. Yeah, okay.
Right.
Because Don hits him in the face, and then it's like, all right, well, now you punch me back. So
there's some vicious punches in that scene.
I was surprised it wasn't.
Oh yeah, elbows to the fucking face. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not going to be friends after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get all the gold and you go back home. You're like, fuck you. You elbowed me in the mouth.
Do you know who to sell this gold to? Because I have no.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing. Who's going to be our fence?
Don clearly isn't good with money.
I actually have a question about the movie. Do you guys think that part of this movie's failure, maybe? Well, I don't want to say. I guess maybe this would be my answer to why it's forgotten. So I'm not going to say that.
All right,
I'll cut all that out.
Listen, stop cutting out. Stop jumping ahead. Well, give me something. You've only given me stuff. You got any more stuff you don't like, Butler?
I mean, I don't like a lot of it.
Okay, well, give me something you like.
What I like I said, I like King James. I like that he says he's a businessman, and he kind of really is. He's much more calm, cool, and collected. I mean, he is kind of single-mindedly focused on saving his brother, because Lucky's the one that's trapped behind the door. He wants to save him. It's like, oh, that's just your half-brother. He doesn't matter. Like, he's dealing with people that are used to, like, the gangster lifestyle, but he's trying to be more like a mafioso. I feel like he's trying to be more like a business guy. Like the king of, he wants to be the king of St. Louis.
Yeah.
And he's the only one that really realizes that. He's the only one with a suit. I think he has a lot of emotion in his face. I think he understood his character very well. I like when he tries to have the truth. He just wants to understand what's going on. He's the only one who takes a second to go, what the hell is going on here? They're not cops. Why are they here?
I kind of dislike that part a little bit. I do like the actual character of King James. Like you said, like the nuance of stuff. Like I like the one line he says at the end after Lucky's dead, where he's like, "Don't let him burn," because like he's important to him, and even the other guy's like, "He's dead," but like that he cares so much about him. But that whole end scene where they're having the truce, he keeps going back to, why are you guys here? And I'm like, what does it matter why they're there? To me, your brother's on the door. He might be dead or dying. And it seemed like all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it just was like, why are you guys here? It was so important to him when it shouldn't be.
I think it's him trying to help level with these guys, trying to figure out why they're there. If they're not cops, maybe they won't care about the body. If they're from Arkansas, what are they going to do with St. Louis things? Like, just, why are you here? Let me figure out why you're here. Maybe we can make a deal. Maybe we can actually make something happen where no one has to die. And my brother, who's tied to this door, with my men wanting to shoot through the door and getting more and more antsy about it, let's see if we can get him out of here.
But do you really believe he's going to make that deal?
To get his brother
Bradley's the one that's like, no, that ain't going to happen. They're going to come in here and double cross you.
He's going to try to make the deal, but also say maybe on the way out, let's get him.
Yeah, but
at least get the deal going for most of
He's the least hot-headed of all of them.
but he's got to make an example of people that... He's got to make an example of people that
for sure,
come into their
They're not going to get out of it
especially
alive,
because you already started having someone who's like, making comments about he ain't the king of the street. What kid's no king of the street? Like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you got Luther, who comes in already as someone who doesn't work for King James. He's
Raymond?
He's a hired... Is it Raymond?
No, the
It's
sharpshooter.
Raymond. I'm thinking of the wrong guy. No.
Raymond. They like, you really want
Yes,
Raymond,
yeah.
and they call Raymond, and
Because
Superfly.
He is. He's like the pimp of guns.
got all the guns. And
Yeah.
stuff. Got C4 for some reason. Like that's not
Dude,
easy
that
to get.
purple robe jacket he had.
Yeah.
It does not work in a work environment that he's in.
Well, yeah, it's like it's all dirty and muddy. It's like you shouldn't have worn that.
Yeah, you're into guns, not hookers and stuff.
Why does Lucky have a knee brace?
Well,
It's a character edition.
Early in the movie, I think they said like your crippled brother or something like that.
Yeah,
so I think they're trying to show that you find out he's a junkie. I think they're trying to show that King James has to like, he's almost like, you almost get the feeling that King James is like his dad, like he's taking care of Lucky his whole life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But he not enough to get him not get hooked on heroin.
No, you didn't help him there.
Here's a question that I have. Maybe I'm just not versed in like 1990s like gangster stuff. Like, why are there rubber bands around all the guns?
I didn't understand that either. And I think
for a better grip on the handle.
But sometimes they're on the barrels too, which I didn't understand.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe that's just a cool thing.
Okay.
I noticed that on, I think, Savan. Initially, I saw it, and then I noticed it on every gun they had.
Every gun. Savan had it on his grip on his pistol.
Right.
Which, yes, the rubber band. And then when Raymond comes out, he's got it on all his machine guns too, but not just the grips, but on the barrels.
Yeah, maybe Raymond has a day job and he's like an office manager, and he just steals rubber bands like shit.
Some people make rubber band balls. I put rubber bands on my guns. It's just my thing.
You don't see it, but he also like paints like little scenes with whiteout on everything.
I doodle. I'm sorry, guys.
I'm a doodler.
So one of the things here says it's to stop the gun from falling down your pants. When you put it in your...
okay.
Oh, okay.
So you put it on there so it doesn't go down, so it doesn't fall down.
Because you don't have a holster. I get it.
All right, makes sense.
Okay.
Right. Nice.
That makes sense.
I looked that up. Sorry. I'll get to my notes. I apologize. I had a question for you, too. Oh, let's talk about the videos.
Yeah, I hate them.
I don't mind them in the beginning when they show the because it's a witness.
It makes sense at that point.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I thought it was a little too much.
Oh, totally too much.
Yeah, I was just, it really bugged me. And I know that Hill came up with that idea when they were getting ready to shoot the film because he wrote an article in a newspaper that street gangs were filming what they did, which is so idiot. I mean,
the stupidest thing ever.
It's so idiotic because you're just giving out your evidence. But honestly, we're in the day and age where everybody records everything, and all they do.
We're recording this conversation right now.
Well, that's the thing. Like when a crime occurs, probably the first thing the police do is like check the Facebook.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's like it's so stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So that's where the idea came from. I agree with you. I don't like the video.
It bothers me. I didn't read that. I read Hill said that when he decided to put it in, he wanted to use it, and it's primarily used in scenes. Well, obviously because the video guy is the one with the camera.
Yeah.
To show the relationship between the crew. So, like, you get, like, these scenes where they're going back and forth, in
they're
conversation.
Things, yeah.
You know what you could do? You could just fucking film a movie that way, too. And I think maybe in 1992, I don't remember, maybe it was novel enough where you're like, oh, that was cool, If it was, it doesn't fucking hold up.
But you know what it is? It's very music video style. It's very, like, early MTV, and that's probably why they did it. But I hate the blue, and I hate the pixels.
Well, I just don't
remember the beginning of the movie is so
blue.
hard to see. It's the beginning of the movie where he's filming the murder. Yeah. I'm just like, what am I looking through? This is awful. My eyes hurt.
Yeah.
I was like, this sucks.
Well, I don't remember back then using video cameras, looking in the viewfinder, and it was blue.
Yeah.
Especially in the day.
Yeah. I mean, they obviously it's got to be stylized for the film, but it just doesn't work.
But we watched New Jack City. In New Jack City, they have a video camera. When New Jack City's around the same time, and their video camera was just a little grainier, and that was, boom, video camera footage.
Well,
like, you didn't have to do blue and...
I do enjoy this movie, but New Jack City is fucking way better. I mean,
yeah.
Oh, man, I can't remember what we said about New Jack City.
I really like New Jack City.
Did I like
it? You ended up liking it more than you thought you would have.
Oh, I think the thing with New Jack was that you could tell it was a first-time director.
Yes.
I think that was the point. Like, there was a lot of stuff they did there that was very first-timey.
Yeah.
And it's fine. And it's also New Jack City. I know what we said. New Jack City is so of the time.
Oh.
Because it's about the crack epidemic in 1990, New York, 1991. And it's like, you can't, like, I think one of our discussions was like remaking it. Like, how could you?
Oh, Color Me Bad ain't going to do that song again.
So I think what else did you like about this film, John, that we haven't brought up yet?
So
I know we just talked about the video.
There's something about this movie where it's written in the 70s, filmed and released in the 90s, but feels like a mid 80s movie. And I don't know, it just kind of I like the idea that these guys are looking for treasure. They're in the wrong place at the wrong time, and shit goes down. Something I don't really care for in the movie is it just seems like it runs on too long.
I think the pace does slow down.
The pacing is up and down, and this could easily have been edited a bit.
Once they get into the room, like once they trap them in that room, it's almost like they were like, okay, now what do we do?
Yeah.
There was no...
It feels like it's 2.5 hours.
It does. It feels like every time they come up with a new plan to escape, or there's just like all these plans, like let's dress one of the guys up like a cop and try to fool him that way.
Yeah.
And now let's put the guy on the roof and try to fool him that. And it just becomes like okay, we get it. It's an inescapable situation. But I think maybe if you had picked a couple of those out, taken them apart.
Just have Savon go out and blow out that thing at the very beginning. Because I hate that they keep going back to that
the walkway,
Stop!
What I was going to say was, like, I kind of want them to make that jump, and I want them to start running through the factory and see. You know what I mean?
It'd be more exciting.
To expand it a little bit.
Maybe don't get to the room that you meant to get to.
Don't get stuck,
Well, no, like the room that they're looking for shouldn't be the room that they're in. Oh, no, we're in the wrong building.
We got to
get that. So
you have a whole building to use, and they use like 2 rooms in this whole building. It's a huge factory.
Yeah.
That's like its own like 5 or 6 acres.
So
like,
maybe the solution is to kind of make what they're trying to the treasure that you're trying to get, they don't get just yet.
Yeah,
they have to go find it still. I honestly though, I could give or take with Bradley. I don't need that character in there.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what he's there for. In the end, he's the victor. I mean,
right.
In the end, he's the guy you're not expecting to get away with everything, and he does.
He was exactly the guy from the very start of the movie that I expected.
But that's the trope. That's because that you've seen that all the time, done over and over and over again. And the one least likely to win is going to win.
Yep. As soon as they encountered Bradley, I was like, okay, that's the guy who's getting the gold.
Yeah, I definitely like. Even though we kind of talked about it before, seeing the de-evolution of the Don character, or the Vince character.
Sure.
Whether it's too fast or too far. I like the fact that like these guys aren't in it together. Again, I think if you ever saw the trailer for this and didn't pay attention or look at the box, you're like, okay, these guys are best friends, and this is going to be like This is gonna be hard on them, and it's a whole other thing.
It's always a buddy cop,
right?
Even if they're not cop.
These guys are not buddies. These guys are two guys that go to do something together.
Two acquaintances.
Yeah, that probably shouldn't hang out. They weirdly, just because of the way they're dressed, and they weirdly look like twins with different hair color. Did you at any point notice they have the same hairstyle? They're both wearing tight jeans and kind of lumberjack shirts tucked in. I'm like, did they? I don't know. There's just something about Sadler and Paxton together. They're the same fucking guy, just different hair color.
We need to dress you guys really white.
Yeah. It's like we gotta get you guys white.
Fuck, I had something I was gonna say. Anyways, all right.
Wait till the train goes.
It's fun.
You know what? I have one more thing I like.
Sure.
I wanted to throw in there. The Rykuter soundtrack, because it feels to me like it's very much of that 90s time where someone watched Lethal Weapon and said, we need a lot of we need a lot of bendy note guitar riffs. And this movie is fucking just full of that.
Well, Rykuter was brought on after Walter Hill. The original composer was John Zorn, who'd done the treatment, and he didn't like the score. So then Rykuter's his buddy. So then he just fired him and brought Rykuter.
Because he did the same thing on the next movie he made. Yeah, I don't remember what it was, but he fired Elmer Bernstein, I think, and brought Rykuter in. But Rykuter is very much, he very much is that guitar player, and the opening credit sequence of this, it's just very much kind of drums and it's it reminds me of the Eric Clapton stuff from Lethal Weapon, just the constant little guitar riffs and stuff. I actually like that, and even though it's not necessarily for me what I want to hear, it's very nostalgic to see a movie. Again, this movie, even though it was 92, so it's not that far out of the 80s, feels like an 80s movie to me.
Well, the decades do blend when you get towards the end and the beginning. Absolutely. Do you like Walter Hill's films, the ones that he directs?
I've seen. I mean, he was obviously he didn't direct. He was very involved in Alien, so I love Alien.
I can make the case that I think I like the movies that he produces more than I like the movies that he directs.
I would almost say that too. Yeah. I'm not a fan. I might get shit for this. I didn't think The Warriors was that great. I finally watched it a couple years ago. I'd never seen it. It's fine.
Its place in film history is more about the type of film it is and what it was.
Right, but the people that love The Warriors will tell you this is top 10. It's not.
It's not top 10. It's one of those films that you should see if you're into film history and watching, movies that have come out that kind of made an impact. Yeah. Kind of like the TV show Lost, where Lost was event television, but I don't like it. But I understand how important it was.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that's with The Warrior.
Yeah, kind of going over the movies you said he directed.
Last Man Standing.
Red Heat. None of those really appealed to me.
Yeah.
You don't like 48 Hours?
I've never seen 48 Hours.
48 Hours is really good, but let's be fair, that's Eddie Murphy and Nick Nolte. That's why it's good.
Yeah, I've never seen the first. I've seen the second one, weirdly enough.
To be fair to Walter Hill, he recognizes that, and he lets them go.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. I think Walter Hill, I think what he probably has delivered in his movies, the movies he directed, is in a certain type of movie, a buddy movie, And weirdly enough, because I just watched it not too long ago, rewatched it. He made Brewster's Millions, so it's I
remember that.
It's this guy who mostly makes these kind of actiony movies stops in the middle of it to make a Richard Pryor comedy. I don't know. He's definitely not a favorite of mine.
Okay,
but again, he was involved in Alien. So
how about you, Butler?
I haven't seen a lot of them. I like Red Heat because I like the cheese of Red Heat. I like 48 Hours. I like Another 48 Hours. He did Deadwood, which I haven't finished the series, but I did like the premiere.
Deadwood's fucking great.
It is.
Yeah.
I don't know if he had anything to do with it.
I never saw the movie.
Oh, the movie's good.
He directed the first episode, and he's a producer. I don't know if he's the reason the show went on.
What happens is what they do now is you get a big time director to do your pilot.
Oh, your pilot, yeah.
And then they make money consistently.
So I don't know if that's why, or if he actually had something to do with his creation.
He might have. He might have been a consulting producer or something.
But other than that, I haven't seen much that he's done. Oh, Last Man Standing I've seen, but I haven't seen Geronimo. I haven't seen Wild Bill.
I
haven't seen much of these.
Totally unmemorable. Yeah. Matt Damon, I think that was an early Matt Damon role, but unmemorable otherwise.
I like those movies that I saw, but I don't, like you said, I don't think that I like them because of the directing. I don't think I was these films are good because 48 Hours is great because of Eddie Murphy and Nick Nolte.
But like I said,
and the kind of film
that could be Walter Hill going, knowing that's what's important in the movie.
Right.
So he lets that go. Back to the movie. I don't know this, so I'm actually asking if any of you guys know this. Do metal detectors really pick up gold?
No.
Thank you.
No, they do not. That was my first note. When he's like, beep, 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 and it's gold, it's they don't No, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there are probably a lot more people like finding incidental gold. That you don't,
Yeah.
And also, that entire building is all metal.
Yeah.
Buildings are made with metal girders, metal steel this, steel that, steel this. They wouldn't just go, oh, that's.
Well,
they think they got
they
it, and they
dig
go,
up
oh,
pipes,
it's pipes and electrical
Yeah.
wires. It should have gone off the second they were in the building. This is why people don't use metal detectors in building. They go to the beach in the middle of nowhere. They don't go into your building and go, nee, that's gotta be gold.
At what point did one of the writers decide when they were trying to figure out how are they going to know where Tiny Lister is above them? And someone went, put him in baseball cleats.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if you're going to have a character who wears cleats because he does to do damage to people, then show that.
Yeah, he never get a payoff.
Yeah, you need to show that.
Maybe I just didn't like the movie and I kind of phased out. But what happened to him?
He gets shot, right?
I don't remember.
Blown up.
There's so much going on at the end.
He disappears.
The idea is that everybody dies except Savan because they initially shot an ending where Savan gets shot, and they had it, and then they did test audiences that didn't like the fact that Ice Cube and Ice-T died in the film, so they left it open. They went back and changed it and left it open, and where you didn't really see Ice Cube get killed, so you can make the assumption that in the explosion he escaped.
Walter Hill, in the interview I read, which was all that, said that we kept Savan's death off screen, so I think he still dies.
Yeah, but they didn't.
Right.
They didn't want to give you.
You don't. Yeah, for the eventual Trespass 2, still trespassing.
Goose gets out though.
Goose.
Isn't Goose the guy that shoots? No, not Goose.
That's
That's Anthony Edwards from Top Gun.
yeah.
That's a character.
Take me to bed or lose me forever.
The sharpshooter guy. I think.
Yeah,
Luther,
he leaves.
Maybe. He
Luther.
leaves
Because
he accidentally shoots Lucky.
He kills the brother.
So he gets out alive.
I love how he's like, tell him it wasn't my fault. I'm
He goes,
leaving now.
It was the white guys. They killed him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. He does. But everyone that remains is supposed to be dead. I
Yeah.
think he gets shot. I don't remember.
No, he just leaves and you never see him.
No,
Oh.
Tiny Lister's character.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
See, I don't remember.
Cleats. What's his name?
And
Cletus.
then I hate the two.
Oh, that's why his name's Cletus. Never mind. Go ahead.
There's two shootouts that are exactly the same. With Don and King James killing each other in a shootout where they both fire guns at the same time.
Yeah.
And then with Savan and Raymond shooting each other at the same time.
Yes.
I hated that. I hated it. It was filmed the exact same way with the exact same slow motion.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was so bad.
I've seen worse.
Come on, man. Twice. They repeat the same shtick 2 times within 3 minutes.
And Don wouldn't be shooting straight anyway. He had so much heroin in his head.
He recovers pretty quick after that.
Most people have to put the heroin in their arm to get to the place. He's got it in his brain.
Direct to the brain, yeah.
It's direct in his carotid artery. He would not be shooting at anybody.
See, no, I got the impression that not just the heroin, but like it nicked an artery, like he was bleeding out.
Oh, he was fucked up.
That's what I got the impression at.
A needle that size in the throat.
I don't know, man.
Can't be good.
Well, we could find out.
I hope not. Was that a threat?
Spin the needle.
Get my heroin.
Get my works. We're going on the horse pitch.
Did you like? I liked the dummy falling from the building.
Yes.
With macking.
When the dummy hits the rails,
Yes.
I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
Because it was it looks
weight,
good.
yeah.
It looked like a guy. And then when Tony Lister Jr. as in the credits, he grabs him by the feet to pull him off the car.
Yeah.
I thought that I was like, oh God. But I like that. I like that fall.
Yeah. And then
Yeah, that was good.
the second fall when the guy gets shot and he lands like on the electrical wires was pretty good too.
I like that too because that looked like a real dude.
It looked real. Yeah.
And there's like shopping carts underneath. I'm
Yeah.
like, holy crap.
Yeah, there's some. See, that's the thing. I think I'm not arguing with you about whether it's good or bad. It's an extremely flawed film, but there's some decent. I always view it as an action film, so there's some decent action in the movie that I like. I do think that at some point I wish that it became more of an action film and less of a siege film. As we talked about when I get into the room, because
Right.
it does slow it down.
Right.
Maybe you would look on it more favorably if there was more action, because it's an action film that doesn't have enough action.
I would agree. I do like siege films. I like one guy in a room, stuck in a room, and that's the whole film.
But that's not this movie.
But that isn't this
No,
movie. Yeah,
no.
like you said, if they were moving throughout the factory, didn't stuck in the ironic conveniently enough, the room with all the gold, ran through the entire factory, made that jump into another room. You had an entire factory to explore. There was no reason to be stuck in one single room in the entire film.
And the map's weird because the map's like supposed to be over the floor. No, it's wrong. It was looking up, but then it's not over the floor.
It's
I
a
don't
bad
understand.
map. It's such
Yeah.
a weirdly drawn map.
But why not have the map be of the buildings?
Blueprints?
Yeah.
That would have made more sense.
Maybe that's why the guy killed himself, because he's just a terrible map drawer.
Yeah, he was so
I can't figure this out.
he was so distraught over the map that he just was like, "I'll be in the fire."
I was so strung out in the 40s, man. I made this map, and I don't even remember.
I like how they read the article out loud, and it's like, "Yes, you're reading it for us. Please stop."
Well, I like how they also bring the article with them.
Yeah.
Like they have the map, which is great. They bring the article with them so that if anybody goes in their car, aka Raymond,
didn't know what
he can read
I don't
it.
even
Like,
understand why Raymond would do that.
Well, and not only that, but it's great because Raymond pulls the map out, looks at it, and just goes, gold. Like, you did not read both sides of that. You don't know what the fuck's going on here.
He didn't read it out loud for us.
Yeah, I know, a second time.
Well, I think Raymond's going to figure out who they are and what they are.
Right.
I think he goes in, sees the radio, gets nervous about the radio, pulls the cord, and thinks, oh, they might be cops or something, and starts looking around for any kind of information he can get.
Right.
Yeah, I just don't know why they brought it.
And Savant's the one that says gold.
Oh, is he?
I'm watching it going, does he even know what the article's about? Is he going to get it? Because he reads it for a while, and I'm just like, all right, gold. It takes him like 10 seconds. I'm like, just, come on, cut.
The thing with Savant, too, is when they started doing King James doesn't know, he's not the king of the street, when he starts turning on King James.
Right.
I think back then when I watched it, and maybe a little now, I thought they were going to do something where King James and like Vince or team up, like kind of like you know, save me, like that kind of thing, like, you know, my men are turning against me kind of.
That's what I thought was going to, when the truce happened, I was waiting for that to kind of happen.
And I'm wondering if that was maybe in the thought process when they wrote it, or they kept it a standard, you know, bad guys versus good guys, or bad guys versus bad guys, actually, which we talked about before. So I wonder if that was even thought about, because that's where I thought maybe that's because that's a trope and I've seen that before, and that's something we've all seen.
It's kind of tropey because like once he took his brother, you knew that he was always just gonna want to murder him.
Yeah. So Butler doesn't like this film.
No.
John, you talked about it before, so why don't you kick us off? Why do you think it's forgotten? That you teased that you were going to say it, and then
Obviously got held up a little bit in release with the problems.
Yep.
But that's okay. I don't think this would have been a summer hit, but maybe it would have done better in the summer. Nothing's saving this movie. Nothing's going to make this not a forgotten cinema pick. Mm-hmm. Here's what I think. Like, you've got a movie with, at the time especially, 0 name stars. Like,
well, Ice Cube and Ice-T are big.
They're not. This isn't Tom Cruise. This isn't. At the time, I don't know, Denzel Washington. You've got your 4 lead actors are all second string guys at this point. And honestly, Bill Paxton obviously was able to break through that with like Twister and stuff. You got 2. If you want to say the leads of this movie are Paxton and Sadler, you got 2 character actors as your leads, right?
Mm-hmm. And then, at that time.
At the time,
yeah.
Sadler's still a character actor.
Well, Paxton
before he passed, he obviously Twister and Big Love, and he did it. And he was great. And you're right. We did an episode on Pint, Frailty. I love that movie.
Good movie.
So he did get past that, but at this time, you've got 2 guys. So when this movie came out, when the poster went up, people are probably looking at it going, "Who the fuck is in this movie?" And I think maybe that might have something to do with it. I think people might nowadays go, okay, I'm going to go back and I want to watch all Tom Cruise's stuff and go back to that time and find movies like Far and Away and Days of Thunder. And, he was a star back then. Mm-hmm. I think that there's just really no marketable names in this movie. And even now, Ice Cube obviously has done much better, Ice-T as well. But they never really got to the point where they were huge. You know what I mean?
Okay. In terms of
even if there was
movie stars,
even if there was one person in this movie that became huge, I think this might have not been forgotten, or at least it would be maybe a little bit easier for people to catch on to. Let's say Bill Paxton, went on to be the $20 million movie star like Jim Carrey or someone.
Sure.
Someone eventually would go, oh, if you go back far enough, Trespass. It didn't happen for any of these guys to that extent. Mm-hmm. So I just don't know if anybody's looking for it. And I also think, it's a weird movie in terms of, I don't know how it was marketed at the time because, I don't know how to say this without sounding insensitive, but at the time you had these movies that, were probably drawing in a black audience, like Boys in the Hood,
sure,
Menace to Society, because they had a predominantly African-American
marketing
cast.
to a specific demographic.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you have this movie where you have that, but then you have 2 white actors that are kind of the protagonists of the movie, I guess, in marketing. I don't know if any of that makes sense, but I just don't know if maybe it translated. I would like to know, did this movie, and we'll never know, have a big like minority audience? You know what I mean? Like at the time, were people flooding the theaters to see this like they were seeing Boys in the Hood and Poetic Justice, stuff like that?
Sure.
I think that, to jump on to John's point, I think that you're presenting a movie where the white guys are the heroes again, and I think that's going to stop anybody, any
Well, you're talking
any of
about
your black audience from really being too interested in watching this film.
You're talking about marketing.
Marketing in terms
not
of
the movie. It's because they're not heroes in the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
But you don't know that till you see this movie.
I understand that. That's why I'm
You're
asking
looking
marketing.
at two white firefighters going to save a man. He burns to death and leaves a treasure map. And then a whole bunch of black gangsters fuck it up for him. This is Trespass. No one's going to watch that. It's a lot of kind of issues with this movie. And if you look through it 2022 lens, it's got even more. It's got issues going on.
Every movie 30 years ago has issues if you look at it through 2022.
But that's why it's forgotten. You don't go back to that. But also it's hard to find. So, I mean, that's another thing. I have to rent it.
I think the marketing question is accurate. I think, maybe also...
If you presented it more ambiguously, I think that... I think Ice Cube back then would have pulled people.
Well, I don't think...
I agree.
Yeah. I think that if the LA riots didn't happen, I think the marketing is probably a lot different than what you have now.
Right.
Because you're going to market to a predominantly urban audience. That's what you're going to do. Because I know you said that Ice Cube he might not be a movie star, but he's a huge celebrity.
No, he is. But I'm just saying, William Sadler, Bill Paxton, Ice Cube, Ice-T. When it comes to movies, the biggest name there is Bill Paxton.
No, but what I'm saying is in the early 90s.
Oh, no.
The two bigger names are Ice-T and Ice Cube.
Agreed. I do agree.
And I think maybe because of the situation of it getting pushed, maybe change their marketing.
Right, but you were asking why, not about then, you're asking about why it was forgotten.
No.
Yeah.
Why it's forgotten is, I think that's to the point of that is because it stumbled out of the gate and because they weren't able to maybe promote it the way they wanted to, that it didn't do well.
Right.
It didn't, people, maybe not enough people got to see it.
It didn't do well in its initial run.
And then it got forgotten. And then never went back. And Ice Cube honestly is more known for Friday.
Right.
And more known for Barbershop. Because when people are like, oh, Ice Cube, because as we were talking about, that's when he found his voice. He found out what what worked.
This is the time too, 92, 93, where he transitioned essentially.
Right.
He still continued to make music, but this is where he kind of moved into being an actor more.
Right.
Than a rapper.
When he goes to his agent, I want to start doing movies. Okay, here are 10 scripts. Take a look and see which one you want to do, and you just pick the one you want to do, like that kind of thing. Right. What I'm saying is everything you're saying probably led to the idea of why it's forgotten because it just kind of stumbled out of the gate.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it disappeared because I've never even heard of it.
It's a forgotten film.
I think quite a few people probably wouldn't have even heard of it.
Well, it's not good enough for people to be, oh man, that Trespass said so many good things that happened in that movie.
The other thing is the early 90s and late 80s are filled with so much better action movies.
Yeah.
So many better action movies. You could probably list, maybe not Christmas time, but the movies of 1991 and 92 that came out that were action films.
But again, it's not an action.
Blow it out of the water.
It's an action film that doesn't have enough.
Exactly. It's a semi-drama action film, yeah.
I'll throw this out there, but I know we talked about it. You said you didn't like it at all. I do enjoy this movie, but I see its limitations. When I watch it, I'm entertained by this movie. I like some of the performances. I like some of the stuff that's going on, but I certainly realize that this is not gotta see Trespass. I don't know if I've ever said to anybody.
Did you ever see the Gladiator from 1992?
The boxing movie.
Yeah.
Cuba Gooding Jr. Yeah, a long time ago.
What about, because I'm bringing that up, but what was the movie, Judgment Day. Did you ever see Judgment Day? Because that's kind of the same idea.
Great soundtrack, terrible movie, yeah.
Did you ever see Judgment Day?
I don't know, no.
Judgment Night.
Judgment Night,
yeah.
crap, sorry, Judgment Night. The guys in an RV, they're going to a boxing match. Because Gladiator made me think that because it was boxing. And they turn off. It's like 4 white guys, right?
It's Jeremy Piven.
No, I'm sorry. Cuba Gooding Jr.'s in that
Cuba Gooding Jr., Jeremy Piven, Stephen Dorff, and Emilio Estevez.
They pull off the road and they run out of gas?
They end up in the wrong neighborhood.
Yeah, and it's like that kind of idea. They're trying to get out. It's the same kind of idea. Like they're a place where they don't belong.
I think I enjoy Trespass more than that movie, but I think that movie does what we were talking about earlier, where it utilizes a lot more space.
Yes.
So it's a little bit more interesting.
Yes. But it's a similar idea.
Similar idea. Yeah. They're being chased down by Dennis Leary is the bad guy in that.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Man. Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Great soundtrack. They take a rap group and like kind of a metal or an alternative group, and they do songs together for like 10 or 12. It's a fucking fantastic soundtrack.
But like one of I think the Estevez character is the only kind of like quote unquote good guy. The others are his friends, but they're questionable.
Jeremy Piven,
suck.
Estevez and Steven Dorff are like brothers, and they're both like the good guys.
Yeah.
And then Jeremy Piven's the scumbag that like kind of causes all the problems.
Yeah. So, but I mean, it's got similar tone to Trespass, just in terms of that like 90s action.
Yeah, agreed.
Wrong place, wrong time. Good people, bad. Well, there's only bad people in Trespass, I guess, except Bradley, who gets away with gold.
Good for him.
Although Bradley is way willing to let Lucky die.
Yeah.
Let him OD.
He's going to do it anyway.
Poor what was his name in?
Devereaux.
No, what's his name in Die Hard?
Devereaux.
No, Die Hard. What is his name in Die Hard? What's his character's name? Arliss? No.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry.
The limo driver.
Can't remember.
Damn, I'm old.
Can't remember.
I'm on it. Argyle.
God.
Like the socks.
Wow, I'm old. Cannot remember Argyle.
It's okay. A lot of stuff going on in that brain.
All right, brother, where can they find us?
You can find us on ForgottenCinemaPodcast.com or ForgottenEntertainment.com, as we are part of the Forgotten Entertainment family. While you're there, check out all the other great podcasts that there are there, including On the QT, which is hosted by none other than John Amenta right there.
That's me.
It's a great podcast. Check it out. And we're also available on YouTube, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, YouTube. Rate, review, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check us out. This is the end of our takeover for now. So go check out our regular podcast. We come out every Wednesdays, nonstop, all the time. I don't stop editing.
Can't stop, won't stop.
That's all I got.
Yeah, so and join us hopefully next month, next year, next February. We'll do something again.
We'll do something different, but yeah, absolutely.
But until then, everyone have a great week. I'm Mike Field.
I'm Mike Butler.
And this has been Forgotten Cinema's takeover of Pint of Comics.
John.
Can I have my show back?
All right.
Please?
It's
all right.
all yours.
All right. Well, I just want to say to all the listeners out there, well, first of all, to you guys, thank you. We've done Forgotten February 3 years in a row now.
Yeah.
And I had this idea, and I thought it'd be fun. You guys ran with it and did a great job. I think our listeners will enjoy these.
Hopefully.
I really hope so, because I do listen to your show. I love your show. So if you're a Pint listener, do me a favor and seriously go check out Forgotten Cinema. If you enjoy the episodes where we talk about movies on the Pint, you're going to enjoy these guys. I think you probably had fun over these last couple episodes. So I really want you to at least check out an episode. If you hate it, don't tell them. They're sensitive.
It was Field's fault. I know.
But download one or two, listen, give it a shot. But thank you. We will be back next week. Manster, myself, regular music, regular Pint of Comics, all that good stuff. So again, Mike and Mike, thank you so much. This has been super fun. And as we say here on the Pint, not fucking Forgotten Cinema, we say see ya. See ya.